Hey, welcome back. In the past two videos, I've talked a lot about listening. First, why listening is the highest priority language skill, especially in early stages of language acquisition, but also the easiest to practice. And then 8 great sources to practice listening in whatever your target language is. Well, today I'm going to give you a general game plan at each level of proficiency to listen your way to language mastery: beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. But if you're just getting started with a language, then you need to consider which of two scenarios you're in. If the language you're just getting started with is somewhat similar to a language you already speak, it has enough cognates that you're able to pick up a few words here and there, then you can skip right ahead to the beginner level. But if not, if it's incomprehensible, it's completely different from any language that you speak, then first, before you get started with listening, you need to learn a few hundred high-frequency vocabulary words to even get started. Now, once you're at the beginner level, I'm going to give you 3 main recommendations. First, music, songs. Talked a lot about them in the last video. When you're just beginning, you need to make sure to choose the songs well, and you don't understand what you're listening to it immediately, so you're going to need help from a teacher or some other native speaker. Now, here are 4 criteria that you and they can use to choose good songs for you to get started with learning the language. They're all related to the lyrics. So first of all, the lyrics should be well written and straightforward. Second, they should use a lot of high frequency, commonly used words in that language, nothing erudite or technical or out of the ordinary. And in that same vein, third criteria should not include a lot of slang or regional expressions, but rather the standard form of the language. And fourth, it should tell a story, or at least give a coherent message that makes sense once you really learn those lyrics. Okay, the second recommendation are videos aimed at young children. So this is fantastic at a beginner level because these videos are teaching children about the language as well. And they're often very well done. So even for adults, they can definitely be watchable, and they're catchy, and they introduce vocabulary, and they use a lot of music. I'll give you 2 concrete examples. In English, Sesame Street is perfect, right? And it's also available, by the way, in many other languages, Sesame Street. In Portuguese, fantastic source for beginners is called Galinha Pintadinha. So basically, there's children's songs, extremely catchy, but with videos, so you have visual cues so you can understand what's going on. And great source, and I can give you other recommendations in other languages if you need them. And then third, listening sources that are made for language learners. So I generally don't recommend inauthentic sources, but if you're just beginning, they can be extremely useful. An example of that would be audio that goes along with graded readers, which I talked about in one of my previous videos on reading. Another example in English would be Voice of America news audio. So, and there are many sources like this. This is just one example in English that's available. They update it every day. There's a new news article and then a listening source to go along with the news article. So it's basically you have a transcript to go along with it, and it's slow, clearly enunciated, so great for beginners. Intermediate level. Once you're intermediate level, ditch the inauthentic sources, go for 100% authentic. And here are 5 concrete recommendations for intermediate level. First of all, audiobooks of literature and books in general aimed at young readers. Second, movies and series. You can definitely at an intermediate level get started with movies and series. How? 3 ways you can do that. One is if you find movies and series that have subtitles in the target language that correspond exactly to the audio, then put them on and you'll be able to understand what you're watching, following along with the text. There's also two ways you can watch videos at an intermediate level without subtitles. One is if they're videos that you've already seen before, movies and series that you've seen before and you love and you'd like to watch again, then you watch them in your target language and you'll basically get what's going on. And the third is the most generic. Just watch new movies and videos and series without subtitles, but accept beforehand that you're not going to understand everything. You're just going to get maybe 50% of what's going on, the general gist of things. But if you can accept that and relax and enjoy it, it's fantastic because you're going to be able to infer a lot of new vocabulary and just naturally absorb the language that way. Okay, number 3, continue with music. Number 4, podcasts and news radio sources and other listening sources that have transcripts. So that's kind of like the subtitle thing. They correspond exactly. You can listen and read along. That's really good at the intermediate level. And 5, begin seeking out social interaction with native speakers, which is mostly going to be listening at this point. It's extremely helpful, makes it real. Advanced level. So once you're advanced, just let your enjoyment and your curiosity be your guide. You can listen to anything, but make sure you vary it up enough and challenge yourself with difficult listening sources so that you keep improving. Now, here are 4 ways, once you're advanced, that you can continue improving and listen your way to language mastery. First of all, audiobooks again. Listen to lots of audiobooks anytime you're commuting or you're just relaxing and you want to listen to a book. It's a fantastic way to continue to improve your listening. Number 2, watch movies and series mostly in your target language rather than in your native language. Similarly, number 3, as I've said before, podcasts, news sources, as much as you can in your target language rather than your native language. And 4, make social interaction with native speakers a permanent part of your social life. So hopefully by now you've made some friends that are native speakers of the language. If you haven't, go out and make them, whether it's in person or online, because that's extremely important. Again, keeping it real, practicing your speaking, but also your listening. So hopefully now you're full of ideas and inspiration. Go out and listen your way to language mastery. See you next time.